Good day. Thank you for joining us again for the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. This is episode 110. Remember, you may send your comments at any time to us. This podcast will be available on the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast YouTube channel after this live broadcast. Please subscribe by simply clicking that subscribe button. Desmond Richards, Winnie Anderson Brown, and Mary White are with us today. At this time, we give you a summary of the presentations of each of our panelists. Desmond, let's start with you.
Well, I am going to be talking about the selection of a new commissioner of police. Yes, and you know,
yes, sir.
What we are expecting.
We're coming back to you on it, Desmond.
Yes.
Okay, Mary.
Today I'm talking about fasting.
Mary?
And yes, today I'm talking about fasting. And
yes, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And how to fast responsibly to get the health and the wealth that we deserve as human beings. So you want to stay tuned for my 3 tips how to fast responsibly.
Right. And why we should fast. Winnie?
Yes.
Well, today I am going to speak to our values and attitudes as a people and some of our core beliefs that drive our actions.
Wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's start with you, Desmond, on the recruiting of new police commissioner. Some people say it's almost done and dusted, but let's hear you.
Well, what I can say once again, the 150-year-old organization is in the process of selecting a commissioner. And just for my viewers and listeners, I want to remind them that what you have seen now is that, okay, we had an ex-army officer who was commissioner, and this is one of several army officers since Colonel Macmillan was appointed commissioner in the 90s. You will remember him. So what has happened is that since the appointment of Commissioner Macmillan, army men have been commissioners for a period of time, then they go, and then the force goes back to its select one of its own to be commissioner. So this turn they are selecting one of their own to be commissioner. Now the next commissioner has his job cut out for him. And right as before he takes up the position, one of his first tasks is to reduce the murder rate, to reduce crime in Jamaica. Now, whoever is selected for the post must concentrate on that. Now, I see they have 3 deputy commissioners on the front line who are being interviewed. Now, I hope that he will be able to conduct his work and carry out his job efficiently. We are looking towards him for that. And we hope that he is going to focus his attention on the force. The force needs some cleaning up, corruption, right? And one of the things that I observe, that the younger members of the constabulary, they are getting involved in corruption. Corruption is rife downtown Kingston, right? Members of special squad are involved in all kinds of illegal activities down there. And you will see a number of young constables have been charged in recent times. Now, one of the things that the force needs is proper management. And the commissioner alone cannot manage the force. He has to rely on his managers all over Jamaica. And right now they are weak. the inspectors and the sergeants in the force, they need to be taught about management. The force needs management right now. Whoever takes over the position as commissioner, that will be one of his tasks.
Before you guys
Okay.
jump on the Desmond, Alan Lewin is online, and he made a very succulent point. He says that they should have a national nomination and let the citizens choose and let us know, choose the commissioner. What do you say about that?
You should have a national nomination.
Citizens to choose the commissioner.
Well, when he said national nomination, I don't know. I don't fully understand what he means.
Like with, I take it that he means like with elect or public officials, the commissioner should be so treated.
But public officials are not, you mean politicians, like how we elect MPs?
Yes.
So we should have an election? That's what he's saying?
Well. Yes.
Well, I don't know.
In some jurisdictions, there's a type of vote for the police commission. In some jurisdictions, in different places.
No, but you don't have any. You don't have. I don't know of any where the police commissioner is selected that way.
But maybe Jamaica will lead the way on that.
Well, that is something that I would have to think about. But I am for the idea where the police commissioner should be vetted by the parliament, a committee of parliament, the people who we elect to represent us. The commissioner should appear before a committee of parliament where he is vetted.
Right.
I am for that.
Desmond that's your method, no problem.
Desmond may come back, and we invite viewers to jump in when they like, send us a comment, and Mary is watching them. Now, I wanted to talk about a follow-through from the local government elections. And one of the things about us in Jamaica, we become very exercised by some things at the time that they're going on, and then we forget them. I don't want us to forget what people were complaining about and what should be the mandate of these local authorities. Most of Jamaica's markets, and its markets is one of the things that I want to talk about. The vast majority of Jamaica's markets are in a shameful and disgraceful state. Frankly speaking, that's despite the spin when the Minister of Local Government and the former Mayor of Kingston were asked in the recent debate about markets. No official or local government representative can honestly say he or she is satisfied with the state of the markets in Jamaica. The lives and the reality of the vendors and shoppers are different. The markets, for the most part, across Jamaica are run down. And some vendors still put out their goods, including food, on dirt floors. And many of the markets have long become too small for the number of vendors that are in them and around them. In fact, many of the markets have more vendors and stalls on the streets outside of them, around them, than in the general aging, tarpaulin assisted and dilapidated structures and markets. Ocherius, Charles Gordon, Savannah Lamar, you can name almost any of them. They are in a shameful state. There are one or two exceptions, new facilities such as in Port Maria. But markets should be one of the top priorities for the new crop of councillors and municipal corporations. But these corporations are not fit for purpose. We're asking them to do things that they can't really do or manage. Look, put it this way. They all have these responsibilities, but none, not one of them can, nor has any in the last 20 years set out, for example, to provide a modern, decent structure that can properly be called a market. Just think about it. Why has no parish council, municipal corporation been able to go about, set up its own properly set market that can attract Jamaican people, vendors and shoppers, and give them a good, decent situation? People, our Jamaican sisters, mothers, daughters, in the main, sons and brothers too, work in appalling conditions in these markets because they go to work. Why are they like that? And I can tell you, and I will come back to it next time, perhaps. One of the situations is one of the few good markets operating in Jamaica now is the Falmouth market. It's away from the center of things. It's away from the center of things because the Port Authority helped to set it up because the tourists didn't like the arrangements in Falmouth. The tourists didn't like the arrangement. The cruise ships wouldn't come and set down people in Falmouth if that congested situation existed. But we Jamaicans live with it all over the place, and our parish councils have not been able to deal with them because everybody has to go to the Minister of Local Government for handouts and beg him how much money and fix this roof and so on. It's a situation that needs to be changed. And I now turn to Winnie.
Before I even say what I have to say, that is true, Franklin. I believe that local government is being strangled by central government, but that's for another time. I want us to look at our belief system in Jamaica, because no matter what we do, that is what drives us. And there's a popular saying, thief from thief, God laugh. And that is behind a number of the actions that people take. For example, the Jamaica Public Service is viewed as an organization that oppresses, and they are branded as thieves. So people are comfortable stealing electricity. And that is a problem that we have not been able to solve. Although we talk about Dennis Meadows, I am not sure if others have heard it. I have not. People have not zeroed in on the people who were listening and how they enjoyed the presentation. So Dennis Meadows, having been relieved of that being the standard bearer, what about the people who believed the message and those who agree with him that thief from thief, God laugh. Chopping is okay because of some historical reason. That is something that needs to be addressed, and we need to pay attention to what we believe in this country. Not just words, like we talk about honesty, we talk about trust, and we sing, teach us true respect for all, but we don't live that. So that is at the heart of our problems in Jamaica. And unless we can address those, I don't know where we're going.
Winnie, before we go to Mary, I've got to ask you that, is it that a man who does injustice himself deserves injustice? So if you thief from people, a thief from me, I can thief back from you, or somebody can steal back from you. And stealing is okay once a person is an old capitalist or a criminal. I know somebody, a friend of mine, who says, yeah, those big guys, you can thief from them. Thief from over King's House, that's all right.
That is the idea that permeates the society. And that is something that needs to be addressed. It needs to be changed. It is not okay to steal from anybody. It's just not okay. Ask.
Okay. Go ahead.
Ask for what you want. Don't steal, regardless of what you see me with. Don't try to take it from me. Ask.
So
and they say no, and you move on.
All right, let's go to Mary.
Winnie, I agree. We're not living in a jungle society at all. That's so like everybody just jungle justice. And we need to end it. Because the society, in my mind, Sir Mark and Winnie, is we develop our systems based upon the trends of the people. That's all, in my mind, societal norms are developed. And if their society do these things where you thief from somebody, you thief back from them and think it's okay, then generations into perpetuity we'll continue with this norm and tradition, and then we will control crime and violence. So everything is all interlinked. And it starts with the mentality and the behavior, the daily behavior of the people, and it's setting the trends for the future generations to follow. It's just bad. Today, I'm going to be talking about fasting as we grapple with a society that is filled with diseases. We seriously need to look at ways of controlling disease in the society. And I am putting fasting on the table as one such mechanism that people can take responsibility and do to improve their health, because you can get 3 benefits that I'm going to share with you from fasting to improve your prosperity.
And Mary, even before you start, I've got to ask you, if you are suggesting to me that in this modern 2024, you're going to be telling people to fast to improve their health rather than to diet, exercise, go see a doctor, and live good.
Well, all of those work hand in hand. And a diet, Sir Mac, when we hear people talk the word diet, we don't think of the fullness of what that word means. A diet should consist of eating properly, and part of eating properly is eating on time and in a specified time, and giving your body time to rest. A lot of us just eat way too much, more than what we need to survive, and we eat on the wrong times, and so our body doesn't get to do the necessary repair and replenishment and recalibration that is necessary for good health. So a diet, in my mind, comprises of all of these angles that make for it to work in a balanced way.
I don't believe
Okay, I interrupted you at the start.
Tell us about this fasting thing you're talking about.
Okay. So as the Bible advocates fasting, Brother Desmond, you'll be happy to know, because the Bible tells you that a gluttonous man will come to poverty. The Bible tells you, if you know you have a big appetite, put a knife to your throat, to control, self-control. So here are my 3 ways. 3 benefits of fasting. 1 is a physical benefit of health and wealth. You give yourself, as I was saying to Mr. Mack, you give your body time to rest, repair, and recalibrate. Resting your body from eating at least 12 to 14 hours a day has been proven to allow your body to heal, starve out, and the less you weigh is the less you're prone to lifestyle diseases, and the better you will look and feel. So that's benefit 1. 2 is the financial benefit. The less you eat is the less you spend on food. The better your diet is the less you spend on supporting your cravings. Because when you don't eat properly, one of those things that you have to contend with is the cost to support your cravings, which can be expensive. Because today you could be feeling for lobster, or you could be feeling for chocolate bar every day. Those adds up on your budget. When you also eat less or control your thing, you spend less in medical bills because you are healthier. So you're going to the doctor less. That's the second benefit. The third and final benefit for me is the mental benefit, mental health and wealth. Food enslavement is controlling too much of the population. We are controlled by our bellies, and the Bible tells us that meat for the belly and belly for the beast, but the whole of them going to be destroyed. So learn now to control yourself. So when you have self-control, you are able to free up your mind to be even more productive, more constructive, to take better care of yourself, to grow, to be more grounded, to live a more balanced life. So therefore, I say to you, change your relationship with food now. Eat responsibly. Start fasting today to enjoy the prosperity of physical as well as spiritual and financial prosperity.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What about persons who have some condition, medical conditions, like for example, people who are diabetic, and one of their requirements is for them to eat
Of
periodically.
regular portions.
Yes. How do those persons go on fasting?
First, fasting help people with diabetes.
Yes.
Right? So a lot of
Fasting
people
helps
are
you with
getting
what?
onto that trap because we're talking about responsible fasting here. You heard my word? Responsible, because there's starvation and then there is fasting. I'm not talking about starvation.
What? Give me a sense, Mary. What you consider fasting?
All right.
How much
For me,
time?
I will use myself as a model. I give my body 12 hours, minimum 12 hours rest per day. So that's because once your system is engaged, then your body doesn't go into repair
No man,
mode.
you're saying we should be without food.
12
Sorry,
hours.
Mary. I try to get it all right.
Yes.
We
So
should be
what do I
without food for 12 hours.
12 hours. So I eat between the hours of 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening, which is enough time to give my body the food for the energy, the fuel that I need to operate during the day. At 6 o'clock in the
No
evening,
snacks.
during the daytime, you can snack. But at night, snacking re-engage your system and it disturbs your rest. So you don't get that 12 hours if you snack at night. And snacking at night is one of those culprits that leads to diseases such as diabetes and hypertension. So we have to cut that and allow our bodies to rest 12 hours a day without
Mary,
disturbance.
you can bring the medical evidence next week to say snacking after 6 or at night.
Within a 12-hour rest period.
One of the things that I can add is that there are hundreds and thousands of people globally, but I'm in Jamaica. There are many people in Jamaica who are on fasting, and this is not deliberate. They are unable to find food.
That's starvation, Sir Desmond, which is a different thing.
Okay.
We're talking about responsible fasting to help your body to heal.
I am saying to you,
when the birds go and move at night time, Brother Desmond,
I heard what you said, I heard what you said. So you can call what I am saying irresponsible fasting. Yes. But I am telling you that there are people in this country who are forced to fast. But
that's not fast.
Let's
Mr. McKnight,
comments.
I want to share with my listeners something about the local government elections that we are inclined to forget it. No, first of all, 70% of the voting population did not participate. Now, the other thing is that, and you heard some of the members of parliament and councillors talking about it, the growth of the transactional nature of politics. I'm talking about vote buying and vote selling. Now, this is something that, as it is very, very plentiful in elections in Jamaica. And
how do you know that? You have evidence of that? I hear people mentioning that. I hear people mentioning this.
Okay. My first experience of vote buying was in West Portland during the by-election some years ago. That was when I saw it for myself, right? But right now I know that you heard some of the members, the councillors and MPs talking about it, that they were approached. Yes, you heard them.
Yes, there are two aspects to it. They were approached by people. When they ask people to go, the people say, pay me to go vote. And some of them are saying that people were paid to stay home. Their opponents told their supporters, stay home and pay your money. And there are some people who are saying that. So there are two sides.
I want to make a comment on that.
But listen the point I want to make. You see, this vote buying exercise is entrenched.
Wants to comment.
Yes, it is entrenched in Jamaica, because let me tell you something. Remember, the MPs and the parliamentarians, they have been buying votes for decades, They have been buying votes. I mean, when they give out the gifts that they give out to their supporters, right? And they give out money and all these things. This has been a way. And the other thing, those millions that has been used, the private sector, to bankroll elections, that is also vote buying. They are buying policies. The people who invest millions to bankroll elections, what they do, they don't vote. They are buying policies. So the government must
You mean the
enact
big companies
policies.
and the financial institutions and so on?
Yes, sir. And therefore, what you see is that we are in a situation now where something will have to be done, because we are going in a direction where the democracy, as we know it, is going up for sale.
Oh, that was it.
Sound words. Winnie, you wanted to come in?
Yes, I wanted to say transactional voting is not anything new. I had my own experience in 1997. So that is for another time and another space. We really don't have the time. And our viewers have been making comments. I think
yes, I do have some comments, Winnie, for you. I have Rubian Forbes, who is agreeing with you that the markets are deplorable. Coupled with that, she said most vendors do not want to sell inside the market, which poses a problem for buyers, causing traffic and causes traffic congestion. Israel Ali gave a very good comment as well, where he says that the Falmouth market, which somebody says one of the most deplorable, turns into a swamp when it rains. He says that it's because it was built on swampland, and so that problem will always be with us with the Falmouth market. Thank you guys for your comments.
And I see a comment from Israel Lawrence.
Yes.
Israel is spelled differently, saying fasting may be useful in some circumstances.
Okay.
Maybe
yeah,
useful in
that
some
one, yes.
circumstances.
Yes.
All right. We don't have a lot of time, but Winnie, we're looking forward to your transactional voting, because I don't know whether you were saying that you went out to buy or you were approached to buy votes.
No,
I have to put some on. We can't wait.
Well, I went to a constituency to look at it, to represent it for NDM. So
National
it's
Democratic
within that
Movement,
context,
yes.
I want to speak to that. Yes. But
Oh,
it's a story that
okay.
it doesn't make sense starting now. We don't have the time for that. But I'm
But-
happy to share the story.
Before we go, just one thing.
We can't hold the Desmond. Thank you all for joining us again for the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. Thanks to Desmond, Winnie, and Mary. Remember, this 30-minute podcast will be on the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast YouTube channel later today. Thanks for sharing. Please subscribe. On behalf of the team, Winnie Anderson Brown, Mary White, Desmond Richards, and technical support from Joshua Black, I'm Franklin McKnight. And I know Desmond wanted to say, we must remember our good friend. Desmond, go ahead now.
Yes, we want to offer our condolences to Marcia's family and friends. She was a giant of a woman.
Until then, take care.